Okay, we've got the musa basjoo flower pod that I cut down today. This was flower pod number 2 out of the plants that I have that are flowering. And we're gonna go ahead and try and cook this. Now, I will say, no idea what I'm doing here, never done this before with a flower pod. I just looked a recipe up online, and so it's a little bit of an experiment. We'll see how well it works. It might be a complete disaster, but we're gonna give it a try. Okay, so we've got our pod here. Now, these we wanna take off. Now, if you're not familiar with these are actually very similar. These are the petals from the pod. They might have another name, but I refer to them as the petals. These are very much like banana peels. They smell like banana peels. They feel like banana peels. Very, very similar to a peel. Now, I need to separate these to start. Chief Inspector's here. You want to inspect this? Is that... Oh, you want to eat it? Okay. Who knew? Chief Inspector wants to check it out. Oh, that's it? You're done? Threw it down? Okay, never mind. We're going in... Maybe. To the next row. Look at that. So those haven't fully developed yet. And these I'm just pulling off. Sometimes they're sticking inside the pod. This is pretty challenging to get these open. Some of them. Now, I'm interested to see just what that tastes like. I mean, raw, it would taste like what you think it would taste like. It tastes like an unsweetened, crunchy banana. I don't know how else you describe it. It's got a pretty bitter taste to it. One of the things I realized with this recipe, after I picked it and didn't have time to go change it, is they recommend you soak these overnight. I'm not going to do that. So we're going to figure out what we can to remove some of the bitter. Ooh, that part is really bitter. That's not going to taste good. We're going to have to do something with that. So I'm going to keep peeling these. You'll come back when I'm done. All right. We've got these all cut up. I'm going to add a tablespoon of sugar just to try and remove some of the bitter taste. I don't really like adding sugar, but I will like it less if it's super bitter. I'll also add a little bit of salt in there. Okay, here we're going to make some more stuff up because we are. Because the recipe is super unclear. So I'm going to mix in those things. those things. It did say a tablespoon, or no, a teaspoon of turmeric, which is the only one that had any type of measurement. We're going to call that about a teaspoon. That's good enough. It just smells really good. A little bit of chili powder. Very small bit, because CEO doesn't like spice all that much. This is garlic. We're going to go garlicky. And then a little more salt. Put that away. And we're going to start cooking this up. This should have probably started the chicken first, but you know, this is what happens when you don't have a lot of time to plan and you're just kind of making it up. Okay, the chicken is just about done. We're going to go ahead and add the banana petals, flowers, things. I'm going to add this in. I'll turn that back to medium-ish low. Mix all that together. Get some of that. I'm going to add some chicken. Okay, first we'll go plain, no sauce. I mean, that's pretty good. I can't say I taste the banana per se. I don't like explicitly taste it, but that's good. And it could be good with teriyaki sauce. I looked, we don't have teriyaki sauce, unfortunately. So, well, we'll try it with though. Sweet Baby Ray's. It's really good. I would eat that. I am going to eat this. Wow. The Sweet Baby Ray's was pretty good, but because I added some extra sugar already just to try and deal with the bitterness of the flowers, since I didn't soak them overnight, I'll leave the sauce off. It's good without the sauce. There you go. Cooking with banana pods. You should try it.
Hey folks, it's the next day, and after eating more of that for lunch, I will say I was able to taste the banana the second time. I really tried to search for it and was able to pick up those flavors. So it does add something to the mix, and overall it was great the next day too. I will say a couple of things about doing this. One, I'll probably only ever do it again for somebody else. If somebody else really wanted to try it, I'd do it for them. It was a lot of work. It took me about 2 hours total to process all the flours and chop everything up. And to me, the payoff just wasn't there. It wasn't that special that I would go through all of that work again, unless somebody specifically requested it and I had a pod on a plant. Another thing I would do different, I would have cut the flour off sooner. That's going to give you more of the unexposed baby flowers, which in my mind of the different flowers that came out of that pod, those were the ones that did the best. And related to that, if I did this again, I wouldn't try and mess with any of the flowers that had already come out and were visible. Those were pretty dirty. They took a bunch of extra time to get them out, to get them clean. And ultimately, I just ended up with a few extra handfuls from that didn't really make a huge difference. So in the future, yeah, cut it off sooner. I'd probably only let 1 or 2 rows of male flowers come out, and then I would cut it. And I would just discard any flowers that were already opened up and only take out the flowers that were unexposed and still behind the petals. So other than that, yeah, it turned out well. It reheated well. Even though I made up half the recipe, at least the amounts of what I was putting in, because the recipe I got just didn't have any, missing most of the ingredients. But I'll go ahead and include how I did it down below with the rough quantities of what I used. You can see in the video, I didn't really measure any of the spices. I just dumped stuff in. So if you do have a flower pod, give it a try. It's worth doing once just to have the experience. But like I said, it's not something I'm going to be doing on a regular basis. So thanks for watching.